Digital.
What are we doing with these? You know, let's stop fooling around. If you want Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's topping out, by the way. So I'm going to say enough is enough, and ka-ching is ka-ching. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the conclusion of the lightning round.
GM, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're taking a look at the current Bitcoin price action here as we learn more about the fees the ETF providers are going to be charging. We've also got an update as well in terms of Bitcoin-based yields, the kind of BRC20 narrative, and a sale ending today over on Fjord, which is formerly Copper LBP. So if you enjoyed this one, make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and we'll kick things off here with Bitcoin. As you can see, a big move overnight. So it's kicked up from roughly around 44,000 bucks. We broke 45K, moved into 47K territory today, early hours of this morning. Time here is roughly 12:41 PM in Thailand. And as you can see from this, the structure of Bitcoin looks hella bullish. And to be honest with you, I don't think it's too long until we see the schizo posting on Twitter kick up another gear. We're seeing people go very bearish as soon as things pull back a couple percentages, but as things go in the opposite direction and move up a few more percentages, you're going to see people calling for new all-time highs here probably in Q1, which, you know, could be on the table. Wouldn't be out of the bounds of possibilities here with the big flows of funds potentially coming to the market. So crazy time here for BTC, and that chart just looks incredible all the way back from the end of December 2022 through to now. That is a sexy looking chart. Total 3 as well, pinged nicely off this previous level of resistance, now flipped and confirmed as support. 450 bill up to 489 or so today. So in terms of Crown's analysis and people talking about sell the news events, his video yesterday was super interesting. So Hickson, who does the Blockmates Buffet, go and check that out over on Telegram, where you can get all the latest updates every 24 hours as to what's going on in the cryptoverse. He says this: look at Crown's quant analysis. There's a difference between announcements and listings. So as an example, check the difference on screen here between the CME futures announcement and the listing. The announcement of it being approved was here. So this could be something that we see for the Bitcoin ETF. Announcement of, you know, it's going to be approved, which would be, of course, similar to what we expect tomorrow on Wednesday to happen. Market rallies up into the actual event of the actual listing. Then when it lists, maybe the kind of steam has already been taken out of the market at that point, and then we have a bit of a sell-off. And that is what happened with the Coinbase IPO as well. And that was the actual top of the market as well back in 2021 when Coinbase actually had their IPO go public. Not the announcement, but the actual go live date. So that could be something to actually think about. But then we see this. So Vance Spencer posted this just earlier, and we saw that Blackrock has confirmed their ETF fees are 0.3%. Grayscale's is 1.5%. So who the fuck is going to use Grayscale when Blackrock, who are a much more secure provider? You know, Grayscale are a little bit dodgy. Barry Silbert must be up to his eyeballs in paperwork and litigation at this point. And the other ETF providers are going to have to undercut Blackrock probably to actually get clients on board. So Blackrock have come out balls swinging, and Vance says, confident we will see Blackrock set a 1-day and 1-year inflow record with their Bitcoin ETF. Larry didn't come to play fiddlesticks. He came here to win. So that would kind of put us in this kind of mental model of BlackRock wants to come out swinging. They're going to come in with low fees, and they want to have the biggest AUM and blow the competition out of the water. So this would mean onboarding tons and tons of money into their Bitcoin ETF from the get-go start date. So not from the initial approval date, which is likely to be tomorrow, but whenever the actual go live date for the ETF is, which would blow this thesis out of the water in terms of the sell news event, because if they have multiples of billions of inflows straight away, that is a whole load of actual spot demand buying pressure for Bitcoin. So super interesting stuff. And as we mentioned yesterday, and I think in the previous video as well, talking about this kind of Bitcoin yield, Bitcoin BRC20s, the full narrative around Bitcoin is changing. The landscape is changing. There's L2s being built for Bitcoin now that will actually see some traction. And this kind of, smart contracts coming to BTC, yields coming to BTC, etc. So as part of the creation of new credit markets for Bitcoin, we have FRAX Finance with a bit of an offshoot here with the ticker XD, which is the kind of crying emoji face. Currently their LBP is live, currently roughly around 50 cents per token. This ends in 12 hours and is around 85% subscribed. So 21 million out of 25 million tokens have been sold. I think this will actually sell out prior to the next 12 hours. And if any whales want to come in here and bid this thing up, that would be pretty cool. But the price will actually come down if no bids take place. But it kind of seems that maybe this would be the bottom, somewhere around 42 cents. If you can get a snipe in there, that would be cool. But I've been buying this on the LBP here, a fair launch for this narrative, which I think will be a super powerful narrative in this cycle. Makes a lot of sense, getting at a fair price, and the market cap's here $12 million circulating, FDV around 32 to 49 depending on how you split the pie here. So this is called LENX Finance, Native Bitcoin Liquidity Protocol, and that is the FRAX logo in there. So we're going to have lending and borrowing credit markets for Bitcoin to actually generate yield for Bitcoin, and it will be omnichain, as this very cool website points out here. So this is going to be one of the more legit teams coming to market and focusing in on providing these kind of markets for Bitcoin, which have not been present in the past. And you can see they're bringing together the likes of yields across Venus, Compound, Aave, and Maker. And so FRAX is one of those teams with absolute gigabrains behind it. Sam is a genius, and I wouldn't fade them to become a market leader in this sector. So the fact that you can get involved over the next 12 hours with a fair launch is a bit of a no-brainer play, in my opinion, since some of the competition we'll look at in just a second, we don't really know too much about. We don't know too much about BSSB, Bitstables, or Multibit. They are shipping, they're doing a lot of things in the background, but we don't know the teams, whereas we do know that FRAX are kick ass. We can also see here the bridge from Bitcoin to their XBTC, which is a smart contract wrapping native Bitcoin into X Bitcoin to be used across the omnichain and to be used across these different providers. That is already built, that tech is live here. If we go to light paper as well. So what we've seen within the documents here is the fact that they're not trying to say there will be direct profits to investors. They're a US based entity, and so they can't say things such as that. But what we do know is there will be liquidity directors or gauges. You've probably seen gauges in DeFi previously, and so this will allow for voting weekly, and a set amount of tokens, the XD tokens, can be directed as extra emissions to particular XBTC LPs. This will incentivize for third-party protocols to purchase or bribe XD to direct Bitcoin liquidity and trading volumes to desired pools. So therefore, the voters, the XD token holders, that is the governance token, they will be getting those bribes like we've seen with other protocols, maybe like Convex or Aura, etc. So these kind of DeFi credit markets and the flow of money will be present on Bitcoin, and XD is the token and your way into this eco. Rafi0x posted this as well. He's gone into a lot of detail. I'm going to do a longer form video on this when I get back home, but it says this: XBTC is only the first pegged asset, but in their V2 expected around the start of Q2, they will release their own Bitcoin-backed stablecoin, BXD. So what they're expecting LENX to become is essentially what Maker and DAI was for Ethereum originally, only with a collateral that's about 4 times larger in market cap with Bitcoin, and that has a serious lack of native yield opportunities. So the fact, if these smart contracts are battle tested and the team is rather trusted, you could see a lot of Bitcoin actually be used, wrapped into XBTC, and then used in this kind of CDP stablecoin to mint BXD. So this, of course, wouldn't be the first mover. This was, I believe, the first mover, up 52% off the bottom from yesterday. If anyone sold yesterday, I feel very sorry for you, but it probably is just one of those things where you need a bit more experience in the market to understand we do not sell those big red candles during a bull trend. You have to be buying or at least just hodling your fucking stack at that point. If you sell the red candles in a bull market, you are literally cannon fodder for the whales. So this token up 50%. Look at the market cap on this thing. So fully diluted, 61 mil. We pull this back, it's hit $9 previously, so it was comfortably over a 150 mil FDV token, and we don't know too much about the team behind this one, whereas you can get involved with the fair launch here, and the circulating market cap is 12-13 mil, and at 100 mil max supply, which will take 3 years to come out, the FDV would only be 50 mil at that point. So I think this is a better risk to reward than BSSB, in my humble opinion. I'm also already in this token here, and I'm also already in Multibit here as well, which is up 20% over the last 24 hours. Again, exposure to this narrative of Bitcoin, BRC, 20s, all that good stuff, I think is a gimme for this market cycle. Bitcoin having its real coming home party, and some of these coins will get absolutely sent on moon missions. So that's why I've added LENX as an additional exposure to this. Final bit of alpha coming up here. So we have DeBridge. So I needed to participate in the LBP, and I had funds on Sol. I swapped them via DeBridge from Sol to wrapped ETH on ETH mainnet. Fees were actually quite low at this point in time as gas is down, but that is not the point here. The point is DSwap from DeBridge. Currently, these guys do not have a token, and they're doing quite big things in terms of trying to move dApps from ETH to the Solana virtual machine. So I think this is an airdrop possible play as well. They've teamed up with Neon Labs. This kind of reminds me of what Synapse was trying to become in terms of creating their own almost a layer 2, allowing for apps to be interoperable omnichain via utilizing themselves as the bridging provider. But it seems that these guys are content with being a bridge provider, but are having their turnkey solution for bridging integrated into projects such as a Neon Lab. So the DeBridge token, if it does come out, obviously it's not guaranteed, but I've alluded to this earlier, bridging to ETH via DSwap from Sol for a potential airdrop seems like a no-brainer play. And that was my route to market to get some wrapped ETH and then participate in a fair launch of a credit market that's being created on the world's hardest money, Bitcoin, by purchasing the XD token. So that was pretty much the play here over the last few days. Not been doing too much in terms of trading or anything like that, just chilling. But this one was, in my opinion, a bit of a free money play to get in on a fair launch with this token, with that team behind it. I think it is a no-brainer. Of course, not financial advice, do your own research and all of that. And then finally, just a quick victory lap here on the fact that the bottom seems to be in on WIF. It is now up pretty much a 2x from yesterday, up to around 14-15 cents earlier this morning, and Pentoshi has bought the bottom and taken your coins if you were a seller. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.